If you are an artist or an entertainer, you should not be paying vendor fees or booth fees for events, and I will die on this hill. Now, on my previous video regarding this topic, I had a lot of great comments, a lot of great insight, a lot of great discussions, and so I wanted to just kind of continue that in a new video. So here's why I believe adamantly that artists and entertainers, we should never pay booth fees or vendor fees for any kind of event. And there's a couple reasons. One, when you're paying a booth or a vendor fee, there is no guarantee of income. Most of these events, a lot of them are outside, a lot of them are open to the public. And if it's a beautiful sunny day and there's a good turnout and people are feeling generous that day, hey, you may actually end up making some good money. Now, personally, my experience has been that even when I'm doing like a pay per balloon event, however much money I make is still not as good as I would make just working hourly events with a fully booked day, right? Like, yes, you can make money either with tips or with pay per face or pay per balloon, but my personal experience has been it's usually not going to be as much as you would make if you had a full day of booked events where you're being paid hourly to be there. But the other downside is, what if there's not a good turnout? What if there's other stuff going on in town that day and not a lot of people show up? Or what if the weather's bad and it gets rained out? Then you paid a booth fee or you paid a vendor fee to be there, and now you're making zero money because no one showed up. Do you think that the event is going to give you a refund on that booth or vendor fee? My experience is usually no. So they want you to pay up front with no guarantee that you're going to make a single cent. I don't think that's right. Okay, so that's number one. Is when you're paying these booth or vendor fees, there's no guarantee that you're going to see the return. And I've had these people, they pitch it to you like, oh, it's just a $500 vendor fee, but you're going to make thousands of dollars. I was like, well, if you're that confident that I'm going to just make so much money, then here's what we can do. If you're that confident in making that much money, then what we'll do is you pay me my normal hourly rate to come. Okay, then I will either charge per face and charge, I will either charge per face or work for tips, however, whatever my agreement is with them, right? So you pay me my normally hourly rate, and then I will either charge per balloon or I will charge tips. And what I will do is 100% of what I make, I'll get back to you. So if I make more than my normal hourly rate, you actually win because you paid me my normal hourly rate and then I'm giving you more than that. So you actually make money on me being there if I'm actually going to be as busy as you say I'm going to be. But if I make less than my normal hourly rate, then you're not having to pay me my full rate, right? Because like, let's say they paid me $1,000 to be there, but I only make $500. I give that $500 to them. So technically they only had to pay $500 for me to be there, right? Or on the flip side, if they pay me $1,000 and I make $1,500, I'll give them that whole $1,500 and they just made $500, right? So for me, I've told people like who want me to pay for a booth, I'm like, how about this? You pay me my normal hourly rate. I'm not paying for a booth. You just pay me my normal hourly rate. And then if I make whatever I make, I'll give it to you if you honestly think I'm going to make that much money and I'm going to be that busy. And you know what? No one ever takes me up on that. It's because regardless of how much they say, oh, you're going to be busy, they don't actually believe it. Because if they honestly believed that I was going to make so much money and I was going to be busy all day, they would have no problem paying me my normal rate and having me give them whatever I make because they're going to come out on top, right? Except for the fact that they know there's a good chance I'm not going to make my normal hourly rate. There's a good chance I'm not going to make anything. So they rarely want to pay. So that tells me that they themselves don't even believe that it's as good of a deal for me as they're saying. So that's number one. But the second part is that when you're an artist or entertainer, okay, and you're a balloon artist, if you're doing this event, it's not the same as if you're selling physical goods, right? It's not the same as like whether you own an arts and craft shop or a t-shirt studio or something, and you're selling clothing or selling pre-made things or selling candles or selling coffee or selling, even like Texas Roadhouse. Here's why it's different, okay? Let's say there's two people. One of them is a balloon artist, okay, and I own my balloon company. And then someone else is, they make and sell candles, okay? And we're both asked to pay a vendor fee to be at this event, okay? Well, in order for me to be there, the balloon artist, I have to turn down every other event that day, not make money, and pay to be at this event, hope I make money, right? But while I'm at this, I can't be in two places at one time. So while I'm at this event, I'm not anywhere else. I can't be making money anywhere else. I'm only here, right? But if you take the other person who's selling candles, right? They can make the candles. They can send a friend or a family member or pay someone minimum wage to go to this event where they paid a vendor fee or booth fee, and they can pay someone else or have someone volunteer to do it to sell candles there, but they don't have to shut down their business. They could still be selling candles somewhere else, whether they have a storefront or if they want to be at a different fair or a different festival. So do you guys see the difference? If I'm an artist or an entertainer and I'm at an event, I'm not anywhere else. And so if I'm not paying to be at, if I'm paying to be at this event, it also means not only am I paying to be here and spending money to be at this event, but it also means I'm not getting paid to be anywhere else. I'm only here. And I'm basically, my business is shut down for the day anywhere else because I can't be anywhere else. I mean, of course I can be sending other people, but for the purpose of this, like if I'm there, I'm not anywhere else. I can't be paid to be anywhere else. But someone who's selling a physical good where they don't physically have to be there making it on site, it's different because they don't have to be there. They can still be in business. They can still be making a profit, selling it somewhere else, selling it in a storefront, selling it. They don't have to be present at the thing. That's why I think it's very, very, very different. So for example, like Texas Roadhouse, if they want to pay a booth fee to be there and pass out food for free at an event, they're not having to shut down their restaurant to do that, right? Texas Roadhouse, they still have their restaurant open for business, making money while they're here. But me, if I'm at that same event, I'm not making money somewhere else. So that's to me why for any of these big festivals, fairs, things that want people to pay vendor booth fees, I think it can make sense for events where, or for vendors who are, selling physical goods. But again, it just does not work for artists and entertainers that have to physically be there in person because, again, it's a different type of business. But the other thing, lastly, is that if someone's selling a physical good, all they're bringing to the table is that physical good, okay? They're not entertaining the whole crowd. They're just selling their product. But if I'm hired to do balloons, my job is to entertain everybody. I'm bringing value to the event. That should be worth something. Okay, so I know there are a lot of people who watch my videos who maybe do a lot of the pay per face or pay per balloon and do these types of events. And I'm not saying don't do those types of events, but all I'm saying is you shouldn't be paying a booth fee for those. If you're going to do the pay per face or pay per balloon events, I'd really try to talk the organizers into waiving your vendor fee or waiving your booth fee. Most of them will, because if you go to them and say, look, if I do your event, I'm not going to be guaranteed to make anything, and you're wanting me to pay you on top of that as I'm bringing the value of entertaining your crowd, and then you better believe they're going to market, we have balloons and face painting, right? Because they know that having balloons or face painting at an event brings people to the event. You don't typically see them saying, we have people who sell candles. Now, again, I'm not knocking people who sell candles. I love candles. But I'm just saying it doesn't have the same draw to an event. If they're like, oh, we have people selling t-shirts. Great, but normally when they're advertising a festival or a farmer's market or something, they're not advertising on their, marketing for that event that they're going to have, this type of thing, this type of thing. But what they do always advertise is if they're going to have balloons and face painting because they know that brings people out. So what I'm saying is if they see the value in it enough to put it on their marketing and on their signage, then that should be worth something. So I would say you should try and get them to pay you your full rate. But at the very least, at the bare minimum, they should be waiving your booth/vendor fee because there's absolutely no reason that it makes any sense for an artist or entertainer to shut down their business, not be working anywhere else, and then be paying an event to bring value to their event. It's just so backwards, and I'll never understand it.